And they're all screaming more. Got so much that they wanna show you. Want you to think that they know you. You got to
hallelujah.
yourself to the dance floor. You got all these fellas.
We're back.
Oh, we're back?
Yeah.
Just the right girl.
All right.
So you know, it's my fault. Because this is the reason I got used to working from home. I'm multitasking because I have the studio computer to run the shows while I'm doing stuff at home at the same time. So when I sit here and I try to do everything from this computer while it's also running the show and everything else, I put too much on the poor computer. So, it crashed. But we're back. Everything's up and running.
Okay.
So you're listening to Lovebabz Lovetalk on WNHH LP 103.5 FM. Your home for community radio. Guess who's back? Back again. Babz is back. Tell a friend. Babz is back. Babz is back. Babz is back. There you go.
I'm back. I'm glad Enroue is coming on, because maybe he'll lift me from the abyss, because I've,
Oh, does it say those is on tour, Babz?
Yeah, it does. And it said it on other people's shows too.
Oh, yesterday, right?
I was like, oh, that's cool.
Well, I'm all in with your Delta thing.
I know you are. we feel the love too, Harry.
All right. Nora's in the room. Perfect timing.
Is this word on the street?
Word on the street. Word on the street. Oh, she just.
Tell you what, this is the best part of my day. Is word on the street.
She just dropped out of the room. Oh, there she goes again. Word on the street. Word on the street. And that music.
Ooh, very good pot of coffee this morning. Hey, look at them. Hey, Nora. Hey, Maya.
No, that's fine. Okay. Hi, Babz. Can you hear us?
Yes.
The mask mandate is over.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So Nora and Maya here. We're actually down at Hamden Government Center.
What is that? I don't even know where is that? Like the middle of town, like where City Hall is?
Yeah, City Hall.
Okay.
It's right by the police station.
Yes. It's like all one building.
Yeah. It's like a sandy, I don't know what this building is made out of. But
and you have a camera on you.
Oh yes. There's also documentarian Roxana here filming. But so we're going to jump on with some town officials who are here together celebrating International Women's Day. So we're going to get on that.
Woohoo.
Okay. I can't wait to see who. What are they doing?
And there's a little baby over there.
Oh, okay. I couldn't figure out. I was like, what is happening?
It looks like there's some plants growing. It's spring.
Oh, there is something coming up.
Are we growing babies now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're interviewing.
What's the word on the street?
1-year-olds. Okay, so could I ask everyone to first introduce themselves? Maybe start with Lauren.
Good morning. It's International Women's Day. I'm Lauren Garrett. I'm the mayor of Hamden.
Okay, over here.
Oh,
Hey.
Hello. I'm Dominique Baez. I'm the president of the Legislative Council. How are you today?
Good morning. My name is Melissa Kaplan, and I am the chair of the Hampton Board of Education.
And over here.
Good morning, Karima Mickens, and I am your town clerk. Hello.
that's my Zora. Hey, Karima.
So it sounds like they can hear us pretty well. Yeah, so can I ask all of you, what is the word on the street?
The word on the street is that women in power don't come naturally. We have to fight for it, and we need a support system. So we're all here today because we have support systems, and make sure that if you want women in power, you give a support system to women.
Okay, so could you all tell us a little bit about that support system, how you provide that to one another, what it looks like, why this crew of people?
It looks like trust, right? It looks like trusting each other, being able to communicate, understanding the decisions we make are built on a good moral compass, and trusting each other's judgment. I think that's what it looks like.
It's about collaboration. It's about clear communication and making sure that we are aligned in our vision. And when we're not, that is an opportunity for a space to create an open dialogue.
And it's everything that they said, and I'll just add the diversity of thought, just respecting each other, and working towards a common goal, and just showing up as our authentic selves. And so that's what it looks like. And the word on the street is that it's International Women's Day. Hello.
Nice.
So is this the first woman mayor of Hampden?
No. There have been two women before me, a Democrat and a Republican, right after each other, but it's been a couple of decades. So it's definitely the first time in Hampden that we have had 4 women in powerful positions. So I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting to take this picture for a while now, and today was the perfect day.
Yeah. And all of you have been in office since November now. Dominique, I mean, all of you have, for the most part, held public office in Hampden before. But I'm wondering what the experience has been like serving in these top offices alongside one another. How does this support system actually help you do your job?
I think for me, just understand. So we're about almost 100 days in, I think. And it's been a really great opportunity, taking a look at the different systems and, what's happening, and, just trying to, get a lay of the land, right, to see what our opportunities are. And I think for me, the support is like knowing that these women are here, that I can reach out to, that I can bounce ideas off of. It's just something unique about when you get a bunch of women in a room. We just look at things differently, and I appreciate it. So for me, it's just been great in collaborating and leveraging expertise across the board, because we all bring something different and unique to the table. So.
Could you maybe give us a concrete story also of when something that has happened in the past 100 days where you were really happy to have one another? Maybe you called on a female colleague. I'm not sure colleague is the right word, but fellow official. Is there a good example of that?
Twice a month we have a leadership meeting. Twice a month we're like, and in between each of those meetings we constantly are in communication. If there needs to be an update, if there needs to be a change. This is like a really smooth road in between each branch here, so that we can figure out and bring things to the table, bring things to the public, bring things to a transparent way that we can all communicate about town business. I think, we have an item on the agenda. We need things to move forward. We need the departments to be able to communicate to the council members. It's been very smooth, a very, very easy road to talk. Yeah.
And before any decisions are made, there's always outreach to get feedback from one another, to share thoughts. So I know the Board of Ed has a bunch of big votes coming up that we've already taken. Lauren and I have had a series of Zoom meetings. Dominique called me one day in the car while I was about to pick up my kids, saying, "Hey, Melissa, what are your thoughts on this? Share with me." And that's what we're looking for, is really the idea that we are accessible to one another, that we share thoughts with one another, and that we are open to each other's perspectives, and that we have a tremendous amount of respect for one another.
Yes.
And I think that really is so foundational in what we have established.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about shared life experiences. Dominique has a really cute daughter here today. I'm not sure if all of you have children, but I think probably raising children at the same time that you're leading a municipality sounds pretty challenging, and just complex. I'm wondering maybe if you have any thoughts on that, of what it means to like have other working moms in that leadership team?
As
What does that
a
look
mom
like?
of a toddler currently, I find a lot of support in the women around me, and that they're okay with me bringing a baby to a meeting.
Yes, of course.
They're
Of
okay
course.
with me coming today, having my child with me, or being on a Zoom and Zoe pops her head in. And I feel comfortable with that because I understand that people are caregivers, people have families, and there's no judgment there. This is a world and an age that we live in where like we have to understand humans aren't in a vacuum. We have all these different players around us that, you know, are integral parts of our life. Especially
She's really so.
toddlers, like attached to you at all times of the day.
Anyone else? I realize there are four of you.
I don't have any babies anymore.
So I think a lot of us, at least for myself, it's also part of what drives us to do what we do, but also to recognize that women in positions of authority are also excellent at multitasking. And I think, as Lauren said before, it's important to recognize that it also is about having a support system. And for so long, right, that we've seen men, right, having it all. And the reason why men have had it all for so long is because women couldn't. And we're taking that back.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add, like, Babz likes that. That we like to talk about this on Word on the Street, specifically why you're here today. You sort of said that you're coming together to take a photo. Could you tell us about even the significance of coming together for that photo? Did you even realize when you were running? When was the point that you even realized that you had gotten all women into these top offices? Dominique was voted president of the Legislative Council, Melissa, president of the Board of Ed. Of course, we already knew about Lauren and Karima, but was there like even a moment of realization there?
No, I don't think I realized it. Yeah, I don't know. I knew Lauren and I, we were on the top of the ticket. And then, when Dominique and Melissa were appointed, I don't think I had a moment until probably just now when we took the picture. There are a lot of places that we share spaces in. And one of the things I want to call out that I appreciate is that they'll pick up the phone and say, hey, do you know about this? Like, they're making sure that I have a seat at the table. And I really appreciate that because I'm not in every room, right? And they're in some rooms that I'm not. And when they're in the rooms, my voice is there. They're speaking about me and they bring that back and they're making sure, that I have an opportunity to get there. But I don't really think I realized it until just this moment when we took the picture. And it just, I took like a breath, like, oh, this is amazing. So, that's for me. I don't know.
I don't know if it's these positions that I was thinking about, but during our campaign season, when we were taking pictures, I think it's when I realized that we had a female heavy slate.
Yes.
And I was like, look at her, look at this lady power we got going on. And it's like each individual, we're lining up, we're trying to pose, we're getting ourselves together. Each individual, you look at them as characters, and you say to yourself, okay, this is a person who has a good head on their shoulders. Just as an individual, you just wanted to be with each person during that. And you're like, and we also are ladies. Does it correlate? I don't know.
I mean, and you also all won by a landslide in the Democratic primary, but I'm wondering if there were any specific challenges that you all bond over, maybe obstacles in the campaign process of campaigning as women as well. I don't know whether that's like a functional hardship of raising your kids at the same time that you're supposed to be going out every night with your slate to like knock on doors, or the way in which the public was painting, the media was painting you, Lauren. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
So I actually didn't find it to be challenging at all. And I do have to give a lot of that credit to Lauren, where she created a strong relationship among all of the candidates right from the very beginning. So by establishing those connections early on, it really made it seem as though we are all in this together. And it was a group collaboration. And so you'll go back to all of her speeches and all of her, pep rallies. And it was always like, we're doing this together. And she has always been so generous in her gratitude. And I echo those sentiments that it wasn't a hardship because we were doing it as a group, and it wasn't just kind of this individual endeavor. It never felt that way.
So I want to echo a thank you to Lauren, because the brunt of having a campaign and then having, we've had such a positive time with this, but there was a situation during the campaign where there was a specific target toward Lauren that was sexist, and to have her take those bullets, we had to be there in solitude. Mm-hmm. We had to be there together to support her during this position, during this time where, some people might not have seen it be blatant as we did, but when we work together, we say, okay, we're supporting one another, we're building each other up. Because there's work to be done. There's work to be done. It's about the town. It's not about how people look at us and our gender.
Can I ask a question? So, Mayor Lauren, this is International Women's Day, and I can't help but, I remember running for office and winning office in New Haven, and the questions that were asking me, 15, 20 years ago, are the same questions that we're still asking women about children and home care. We never ask men these questions. A man mayor could stand right there, and no one will say, well, do you have to go pick up your kid at daycare, or how is it juggling home and whatever? What do you hope for women in politics into the future, since we are on International Women's Day?
It's a great question. I hope that women will be judged by the policies that they write, by the words that they say, and less by the fact that we have these presumed gender roles that make it difficult for us. Babz, you're awesome. You have helped women get to where they are. And so many women before us have helped all of us get to where we are. So I think that's what International Women's Day is about. And I have this awesome team with me who were so supportive and continue to be supportive. And the campaign that we ran that was all about a team continues today, because we collaborate, we communicate, and we don't surprise each other. we make sure that we have the conversations beforehand so that we're always functioning as a team.
Yeah. And what's on the agenda for the rest of the day to celebrate International Women's Day? What does that look like?
Where's flowers somewhere? I can't remember. I got a text about
where are we meeting for cocktails? That's what
I'm actually headed to class. I teach Women in Gender Studies senior capstone, so we are going to celebrate at Quinnipiac. So that I'm excited about.
That's
very
interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sign some papers over at the council office because we had a meeting last night. And then I'm going to work on some Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah, so we'll be swearing in someone new today for the Board of Education. So I'll be there this evening to do that.
Who's getting sworn into the board?
There's a vote. Right?
We have a vacancy, and so we have 3 candidates, and it'll be exciting to see who gets the vote.
Cool. Lauren?
I have a full day. It's budget season up in the mayor's office, so we're reviewing with finance, and it's pretty time consuming. Lots going on, press releases galore, so we're working it.
I'll read those. Wow.
All that excitement.
Also, I thought we should maybe take 1 minute, Roxana. Can we turn the camera? I just thought it was interesting. So I think Roxana's out here today also filming a documentary specifically on these women.
Yeah.
Good friend Roxana.
I know. Wait. Okay.
Oh, you slip into Connecticut and you don't call me? You come all the way from Florida, you don't call me, girl. I gotta see you live on the street.
Sorry, I really put you on the spot.
I tell you what, you better call me before the day is over, girl.
But could you tell us a little bit about why you're out here?
Sure.
Maybe give people a little bit of context about your past in government.
So first, hi Babz, how you doing?
You better call me today, girl.
I will. Yes. So I lived in Hamden for 12 years, and I recently moved to Florida. But before I left, I was just part of the transformation that happened here in Hamden, and it is just amazing today to be here with these four amazing women who have taken upon themselves to be leaders of this town. But this documentary, the title is One Town at a Time, is really a reflection of mine about just the transformation that's been happening here, thinking about Martin Luther King Jr.'s ideal of a beloved community. And I think that the transformation that's been going on here really is about justice. It is about building a better community. And that's revolutionary, really. To think prior to this 2021 election, prior to that election was a town where the leadership was not representative of and then within 3 years of struggles, people losing races but getting back up and running again, along with a lot of political education, knocking on doors. I mean, the folks that are in office now worked for it. They weren't just friends of friends, but they worked for it. And part of that work was to what is and inviting people to come for the ride. And by doing that, wow, transformation had just really happened like in 2-3 years, where we have a woman mayor, a woman town clerk, head of the Board of Ed, head of the Legislative Council, are all women, and diverse women too. So it's not just the good old boys club. So that's the documentary is about that. And don't forget the youth. In this documentary, we're going to be talking to young people too, because when we talk about a community, we're talking about all the people that make up the community. And hopefully, this can
Are you also going to be posting?
Yeah, that wind is kicking.
I think we lost some sound.
Yeah, it's the wind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Better now. Hello.
Nora, we can't hear her.
Okay.
You got to turn your back on the wind, Nora.
Okay. At all better now?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
We couldn't hear her.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Babz and Harry, do you have any final questions?
No, she better call me. I know one thing. She better call me before she go back to Florida, or I'm gonna come to Florida.
You just want to come to Florida.
Well, there is that.
I am going to call you Babz. Absolutely.
It is good to see. This is the best International Women's Day ever. To see this kind. You know what? We need some of this girl power in New Haven.
Here we go. Yes. Absolutely. So you got to make it happen.
Oh, girl,
Part 2.
I'm all over it.
Okay. All right. I hear you. And I'm going to have to come see you because I was videotaping her camera. So I'm going to need a release form from you so you can be part of this documentary.
Absolutely. You got it. Whatever you want.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Woo! All right. Thank you.
All right. Take it. Yeah,
Thanks, everyone.
Oh,
Back to
thank
you,
y'all.
Babz.
This was the best Women's International Day ever. Oh my God, that was so good, Harry.
I celebrate women every day.
We know, Harry. Oh, Harry, I tagged you in Rosario Dawson's new series or movie or something she's doing. I was like, look at the very talented Rosario Dawson. I tagged you on Facebook so you can check it out and then we can talk about it sometime this week.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say?
No, so I just think women have hidden their powers for so long. You know, you guys should be running the world. You know, and it's weird that it's taken so long. I mean, us men aren't that smart. You know, and look, this whole creation story of Adam and Eve, there's just no way God starts with Adam.
or maybe he did and said, you know what, let me correct it with Eve.
I mean, I just wouldn't start with Adam. If I'm God, I start with Eve, right? So, but you know, I just think women are spectacular. I've always said it. I was brought into this world by a woman, married a woman. She brought, you know, my children into this world. There's nothing closer to God than a woman who can create life, right?
Well, you know what? As Paul reminded me, Lilith came before Adam. So there we go.
Well, Lilith is a Jewish story. It's not a Christian story. But yeah, Lilith actually, Lilith ran the garden, right? She put it down, and Adam couldn't deal. Adam couldn't deal.
Ooh, this is hard work.
but Lilith is a different story that I don't think a lot of Christians know about. So, but yeah, no, in my house, Karen doesn't follow the submissiveness of Eve. She's more a Lilith.
Yeah.
and I'm all for that.
And leave it to a man, Harry, to leave a strong woman for a different kind of woman that he thinks he wants.
I know,
until
right?
he gets that woman and be like, you know what? I really was better off with Lilith.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That was good. This is good. You know what? Every day I get excited about these word on the street, Harry, and I never know what to expect. So it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. I mean, that was just brilliant to go to Hamden today and to catch those women legislators.
Yeah. You know, I didn't realize it was National Women's Day until I was driving in, and my my iPhone bing the holidays and stuff. So I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool, you know. And you know, we should find a way to make it's just like, you know, African American History Month or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be something that's celebrated every day and not make it weird. I feel weird to National Women's Day. I love women, so I celebrate it every day. It just seems weird to me for women, for you to bring it down to a month of appreciating women. Nah, that's not for me.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
It just makes no sense.
You might be right about that.
There's no greater thing in my life, not to say a thing, but you know, than the fact that I was born and brought into this world by a woman, nurtured, you know, and everything in my life has to do with whatever my mother did for me. You know, and I think that's almost everybody's life, right? My dad, you know, we play a role, but without mom,
stuff don't happen.
Yeah.
You know, stuff don't happen. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know, so as we run up on Mother's Day in a few weeks, you know, but International Women's Day says, you know, when you sit and think about it, Harry, and you see all the ways and barriers that they put in front of women to keep them from achieving to their highest capacity. It just seems ridiculous, right? Like the level of control you want to put on our bodies, on our access to opportunities, on our educational pursuits, all these things, the liberation of women around the world, or the destruction of women around the world has been outrageous and still goes on. Still women have to fight for their own freedom, their own liberation, their own health care, their own equal pay. How we fight for everything is a fight. we just can't show up and be great.
The whole equal pay argument, I think it would be solved if you just start by giving women extra credit for everything else they do, right? I think you have to start there, because if people go, oh, well, a man works more hours in the office, and how about that lady who has to go home to start her other job, while the man has the ability to stay in the office because he knows his wife is home doing the other job? So I think you have to start there. You have to say, wait a minute. Let's start with appreciation of everything else that's done by this woman. But.
And money says it best.
Yeah.
Yeah, diamonds might be a girl best friend, but an account is priceless. So, yeah.
Right. We didn't talk a lot today because, all this studio stuff, but we have to cut it short because we got Enroue in the
we got Enroue who's going to, rescue me from the abyss of these times. So what do you want to do? You want to take a short break and get set up?
Yeah, we'll take a short break and we'll be back with Enroue.
We'll be back with Enroue. And he's got a fan base who's looking forward to him coming on this morning. So that'll be great.
Well, Enroue gives us that woosah time, where he puts everything into perspective.
He does.
We'll be back. You're listening to Lovebabz Love Talk on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
But I wasn't gonna stop him for giving me shit. He's walking to my door, tapping on my glass, telling me his reasons for what he called fast. Doesn't matter, got no time to stress. Can somebody be my witness? Frustrated, irritated while I'm sitting in court looking at the jury, feeling no support. My lawyer telling me to take plea. I can see the judge's eyes saying I should agree, but that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a real big problem. That's gonna be a problem.